I do hear Jane. And yep, there we go. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey there.
Good morning. Good
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was good. A lot of floating. Yeah. A lot of
Nice.
floating, keeping cool, reading magazines from 6 months ago. So it's kind of
Uh-huh.
interesting to see what they thought or how they saw things 6 months ago and how things have, turned out
That's a
from
good
their
point.
prediction. It's a whole different tone. I mean, it it's a whole different tone. There was some hope left 6 months ago.
Yeah. There's a lot of internal fighting going on right now.
Mhm. Do you take that seriously though? Do you really, is it part of the performance, do you think?
I
I'm so
wonder.
cynical right now. I'm thinking
Yeah.
that it's just, for fun.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair thought because none of them have credibility.
None. No.
So,
And your buddy,
yeah.
I can't see him leaving his posh post.
Well, Bongino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So I saw his performance. Speaking of which, performance on Fox and Friends, I think it was.
Oh God, I hate that show.
Uh, yeah,
I can't watch it,
uh,
but Paul does.
and you see, I recommend. I'm going to tell you about a farmers market that I was at this past weekend, and I was passing out brochures for Mastiff Media,
Good for
and
you.
I have one that's set up for conservatives and one that's set up for progressives. And I asked people, or
Ah,
one or the other, even though the QR code that's on it takes you to
uh-huh.
this website. It's just that I didn't think that I should put the logo of the right hand for Right Talk Radio on the same brochure that I put the left hand for Forward Radio
Yeah.
on the same brochure. They would say, "What the hell is this doing here? I don't want to be here with the libtards and
Right,
the
right, right, right.
people would say, I don't want to be here with the fascists and whatever else." So they're on separate, and I was handing them out accordingly. But where was I going with it? I was telling people about our show, both sides now,
Mm,
up the middle,
really? Oh, cool.
Friday fights, that we are just that. We do look at both sides of so many different issues.
Hmm.
They should too.
Hmm.
Should be if they're fans of Alex Jones or Sean Hannity. They should also be listening to Rachel Maddow.
Hmm.
The other
You
side,
gotta know. Yeah.
and it's hard because then the blood starts boiling and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
throwing things and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, it was a good weekend for that. Um,
Hmm.
I bought various products at the farmers market. Uh, some I don't really need, like this thing, and some that I actually could
Okay,
use.
so what's the bracelet? Are they special beads? What are they supposed to symbolize? Come on, share.
Not a symbol, but they're supposed to help with anxiety.
Oh. And
Heard that on.
so do you know the name of the beads?
I did. I don't, but I did.
I
Um,
used to know too, so I was hoping you could remind me.
they're not. These aren't tiger's eye. That was the other bracelet that I looked at. But when they said this is the one that helps with anxiety, then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. Just necklace and ankle bracelets too, because I could probably use. Uh,
Ear piercings and tongue piercings, all
yeah,
those kinds of things, whatever it takes. Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
exactly. But the one thing I don't remember what that was. There was another bracelet that the one lady demonstrated. She puts it on, and she starts rubbing the one stone that's on it. And right there, as I'm watching her do it, her hair stands up on her arms,
Oh my gosh.
and it apparently gives you that type of energy
Hmm.
with grounding you to the earth and things like that. And I'm telling you, I watched her hair stand up when she started rubbing that stone.
That's
Uh,
incredible. But
Yeah.
yeah, the
So
old ways, huh? Yeah.
this is a smoker. This little disc, and you see, I had it actually Mastiff
Okay.
Media
Right.
website. There's a screen in the center of that, and
Okay. Yes.
what you do is you put it on top of your glass, like a bourbon or whatever. This is a 16-ounce pint, but just a demo. And you take the wood shavings that are in this and just take a pinch of it and put them on that screen. And then you take the lighter and light it, and it burns those little shavings, and the smoke goes down into the glass.
Ah.
This lid keeps the smoke in the glass, and you do that for about 20 seconds, and then that flavors the cocktail with the flavor of the wood. This one is pecan. It's just one that I grabbed, but I got pecan, oak, maple, cherry,
Hmm.
um, a bunch of other flavors.
Well, back
I,
in the day when our late friend Roy Kubler was heading up our Scotch club, it was
yeah,
interesting to know that that the taste varies depending on in what kind of uh, all I can think of is container and vessel and what kind of thing
right.
the Scotch is stored in. It makes a difference in terms of the taste. So
Oh,
I
the
can,
the,
yeah,
the wooden barrels.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Well, yeah. So that's with wine,
Yep.
rum, um,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
in fact, uh,
So you treated yourself to some, shall we say, flavorings.
well, yeah, and that this, I've had a little bit of extra artwork done to it. Now makes this a tax write-off
There you go.
with Mastiff Media on it now.
There you go.
That's something that we can sell or give away or whatever. I found lion's mane mushrooms at the farm.
Okay.
That is huge for dog food, like a healthy dog food.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So,
if you were smoking them or what.
but yeah, I don't think they cause any hallucinogenic features, so I'm not going to be consuming any of them.
Yeah.
But it's huge for dog food. Um, I
How
got a soap.
cool.
Yeah, I got this charcoal mint soap that uh, after I washed my hands with it, my hands felt like a baby's ass. It was that,
No kidding.
yeah, and
Wow.
good scent and yeah, and not like flowery, not even too gay even for me, but
Mhm.
for that,
Too gay even for you.
yeah, still smelled like
All
something
right.
I use.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But yeah, see who else? I got that. I got the bracelet. I got cheese. I got Pennsylvania Dutch cheese. Actually, it's Amish cheese that comes down from Ohio.
All
So
right.
yeah, it was good. How about how much floating did you get done?
Well, I read, I believe, for the weekend, three full-time magazines. I mean,
Wow,
all right. Yeah. So that means I'm in the pool for at least 2 or 3 hours every magazine. So
good.
I'm ripping through them. What can I tell you? It's all good. And I had a couple of podcasts. One was really fascinating. Um, yeah. But before we get into that, I just want to say hi to Ken because he sent me a
Oh,
message of good
yeah.
morning. So I want to respond back to Ken. And I noticed he's using a different handle. So
That's
I
his
wasn't
Twitch.
sure it was he. Uh,
Yep.
Looking at the comments that you've had since you've been on the air, I guess at 11 o'clock. So I'm
Yeah.
glad to welcome.
Yeah.
Or
That's his Twitch.
uh,
Is another platform. He's
oh,
on Facebook
okay,
that.
okay. I'm
Actually,
I'm
oh, you
pretty
know what?
illiterate. Mhm.
Oh, that's my fault. I did some testing over the weekend, and I was testing Twitch and a custom URL, or actually RTMP, something that we can create our own location for, and I forgot to reconnect the other platforms.
Ah.
That's why we're not on Facebook today.
Ah, I see.
Why is only one platform active? And I'm like, oh, that's funny.
Amy's
Yeah.
probably looking for us and can't find us. What can I tell you?
I know. And we're not recording it to that now. So what I'll do is I'll upload um,
Okay.
put the whole episode on YouTube,
Okay.
and I'll upload the links to it and send it out a mass email and tell everybody how I screwed up and whatever else.
Well, you were busy shopping.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. So
s-
where was this festival or flea market or farmer's market, wherever you were? Where was it?
at the
Local? Real
this
local?
yeah, the Sea Ranch Civic Association has
Okay.
started having them this year, and they just do it in their parking lot and inside the building, depending
Yeah.
on what type of, whether you need an indoor table,
Mhm. Mhm.
or if you got like a booth, or there was ice cream. I wound up not getting any ice cream. I don't know why, but I didn't get any of the ice cream. I didn't get any of the barbecue.
Ah,
Um, I should have, but yeah, good turnout. It's still
good.
growing. Yeah, I think a lot of people might be like, "Oh, really? This is it?" And I'm like, "It's not 6 months old yet."
Yeah.
So, it's got to get.
It
Um,
takes time to grow things. It takes time to allow people to know things are happening. Tell me about it. Yeah, there are still people who walk into the gallery saying, "Gee, I didn't know you were here." And we're in there 17 years. So it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
amazing. I mean, and these are local people. Yeah. So
There was.
it's just
I,
incredible. Hmm.
do you remember? This might be a perfect example. Maybe you don't know it. Do you remember a club up in Reading that was named after like the shopping outlets, called the Reading Comedy Outlet?
No.
See, there you go. It's not even there anymore. It's out of business.
I heard
Because
of owls.
you're not that club. That's for those not from Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Exactly. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is a
Don't
teeny.
ask me how I know about that, but never mind. So, yeah, it takes
Well,
time for
he
people
did a
to find
joke. He did
huh?
a joke about that. They were there for like 10 years, and he would come to the mic as like an intro. So by show of applause, how many of you here for the first time?
Mhm.
And a certain number of people would clap. And he goes, "Thanks a fucking lot. $3.2 million of advertising, and you finally got here."
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, so yeah,
So
for go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you got plenty of floating done. That's always good.
Yeah.
Did it rain up there anymore?
Almost every afternoon, as soon as I
Really?
get in the pool, Jeff will say, "You've got 10 minutes, Mom, before the thunder and lightning start." So,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
weekend I was in there for hours, so it was good. Yeah, but we're getting we're getting thunderstorms almost every day. In fact, there's
Yeah.
lots of rumbling right now,
We had some
and
earlier in the show.
supposedly some fierce thunderstorms and wind later on this afternoon. So, yeah. And my whole weather picture on my phone looks like rain every single day for the next 10 days. So
Yeah,
now
same here.
that may be for 20 minutes later in the afternoon. I don't know. I don't check that. So, but yeah, it's
No, I
still
think
raining.
we're getting a lot of the. I mean, we're up to. I think it's D. We have at least 4 or 5 named storms already,
Yes, you do. Yep.
and
Yep. You're at least to D.
yeah,
Hmm.
and we're getting the same thing. My jet skis are supposed to be coming back from the mechanic this week.
Mm.
Of course, it's going to rain all week, so I'm not going to be able to do a damn thing with them.
Hmm.
But I asked you in our chat last night. I
Hmm.
here so I can put it on the screen too. There it is. A public figure. Well, that could be possibly slightly debated, but anyway, uh, our friend Gary Williams had a pop-up
Oh,
show last night that I caught the tail end of.
did you?
And for those who aren't aware, this is the network that Jane was on.
Mm-hmm.
God, it was probably 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
that you were a guest on there. And I tuned in and I saw Mrs. Stahl. And then, and, um, and I go, wow. And so I continued to watch that night. And
Mm-hmm.
we, of course, reconnected. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just
And here
like,
we are.
what? Yeah. I remember that we weren't really sure what, but we knew, you and I knew, we had to do some sort of podcast together.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like right back into English class.
Right back. Yeah.
You kind of leading a
And
conversation,
I
me
mean,
adding smart ass remarks. Yeah,
and it's been an interesting journey, let's say,
yeah,
because when
absolutely.
I first started this with you, now my own podcast is different, but when I first started with you, I thought there needed to be a topic and we needed to share something or another about a topic of some kind. And it took me a little while to get in the conversational mood that we are, or mode
Oh
rather,
yeah, yeah.
that we're in now. But it's been an interesting journey. And my
We
daughter helps, she said, Mom, this is a conversation. This is not a teaching lesson.
yeah, but I've been thinking about that recently too. Um, did I tell you the story how my neighbors thought you were black?
What?
Yeah. So I talked
What?
to them about how I'm developing my podcast into also being a radio show. And I said, I have a co host that I've been working with because you and I had been doing pre recorded episodes for both sides now.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when we were transitioning into recording the episode live like we do today.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, for Mondays, I'm going to have my one co host join me for the podcast that we're already doing. We're just going to do that podcast live during the course of the radio show.
Mm-hmm.
And my one neighbor goes, "Is she black?" I,
Why?
what do you mean? Yeah. He already had associated me with being kind of a Howard Stern type of personality.
Oh, I get it. Okay,
And
so
so
I was
you would be,
Robin.
yeah,
Okay.
you would be
All right.
my
That
Thomas
makes sense.
Rivers.
Yeah, that
And
makes
I
total
realized
sense.
that's what he was doing. I'm like, no, it's she's not my sidekick. In fact, there's plenty of times during the pre-recorded episodes, she's contributed to
Mhm,
the episode more than I did.
mhm.
And well, yeah, no,
Oh,
no,
that's
oh, is
funny.
not black.
Yeah.
Not that that would be
Yeah,
a bad thing, but
that's funny.
uh,
That's
that's
funny.
Florida for you.
Well,
Uh,
I don't in our conversation last night and talking about were you going there in terms of what we discussed last night at all in our chat together? I don't want to interrupt you.
oh, you mean like the one podcast episode that you recorded?
Yeah. Mhm.
Where for our listeners are going like, what the hell are they talking about? Just
I
say it.
know. I know. I recorded a
Uh,
podcast on Saturday with yet
yeah.
another former student of mine. I mean, Ross just let you know, or Yergz just let you know that he and I spent time in the classroom together. Well, another one of my star students from what? From 2003, I
I
think.
think you said yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
3.
2003, and he was class president and delivered a speech at graduation and all that kind of stuff. He was a really, 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 really star student. Just a delight to be around, right? And so he showed up on my back deck at some point last week, I believe. Yeah, last Monday or Tuesday, one of those days. Anyway, and we had a little conversation, and I invited him to record a podcast with me because one of the things I like to do, of course, or my mission actually in my podcast, is to allow my greater community to reconnect with people or to connect with people who are doing cool things, who are in fact inspiring. And
Yeah.
this young man, not so young anymore, middle aged now, actually, but this young man, after he graduated from college, local in the Philadelphia area, in landscaped architecture, went to live for the next 18 years in Bosnia.
Wow.
In Bosnia, yeah. And so he was, creating beautiful spaces because that's what his mission was. But he felt he needed to move out of Boyertown for sure, and move somewhere far away so that he could, be emancipated. Let's put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he and I had, got together on the Saturday. He was on my back deck last week, and we made an arrangement for Saturday for him to tape an episode because I felt his classmates, some of whom are listeners of mine, or on my Facebook page, and would therefore possibly be interested in hearing from this young man again. So, I thought let's figure out, let's talk about your artistic journey. And interesting, as he talked about his artistic journey, going to Bosnia and creating beautiful spaces and so forth, but coming back to what he insists on naming, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, not the state of Pennsylvania, because he says Pennsylvania is not a state, it is the Commonwealth. And
I
he
mean, he's
recalls,
he's
go ahead.
technically correct, but
Well,
who
he's
gives?
making a point of it. That's all I can say. And that says a lot about him. So hang on.
Okay. All
Anyway,
right.
this is a wild ride, this episode. It was like herding cats, you know, trying to say, okay, now what took you to Bosnia of all places
I was going to
in
say,
the
I
in the
mean, I
world?
guess.
I never got a real answer. And I believe I asked it several times, But anyway, it was like he had his own message to give. Let's put it that way. He had his own message, and what he wanted to do in the episode, he told me at the moment, was to announce his intention to create a new political party in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and run for governor. In
Okay.
exploring his motivation to do that, his intention to do that, he went into stories of our community back in the day, back in the 90s, when he was growing up here. He remembers the KKK on the corner,
Oh yeah.
the main street corner in our community, all dressed in their regalia. Okay.
Right.
And I, as as a young boy at that particular time, did not quite understand what that was all about, but knew enough to know that it was not necessarily a hopeful thing. And so somewhere in our podcast conversation, he said, I have a dream. And then it reminded him, of course, of Martin Luther King, or maybe he reminded me that was part of, Martin Luther King's thing. And really his whole intention, I believe, backed by his memories of his community participating in something he finds loathsome, his whole intention then is to try to awaken not just the community, not just the Commonwealth, but the rest of the country and the rest of the world, since he is an international figure, into the need to respect, include, value all the different voices. And of course, he finds what's going on in our country at this particular time in history really sad. So he has some memories. He lost his brother actually, which has affected him deeply. I guess his brother was a victim of bullying, was a victim of, being mocked and harassed and,
Oh,
all
wow.
those things, and ended up, um, in all, I suppose, at the very bottom, taking his own life. I don't know that it was purposeful at the moment, but, what he was doing was certainly not going to extend his life. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he comes from, and he's still brokenhearted about this, and so there's some
About his
trauma
brother?
there that he's living through that is inspiring some of what he's doing. And another thing I just want to mention before we really discuss this is one of the things he mentioned also was that he wanted to invite, through Building a Better Boyertown, our community development organization, nonprofit organization here in town. He wanted to offer an artist who would do a mural for free. And if the artist, wasn't willing to do it for free, he was willing to pay for it, with one condition. And that is that the mural had to acknowledge the indigenous people that used to live here, used to occupy this land, this commonwealth, that perhaps have not been treated well, have not been
Mm.
acknowledged, have not been respected, and so forth. So his intention in this mural is to give honor and respect to the indigenous cultures that, were here way before I was. Let's say that.
The
Okay. But it was
is
like
he
I said,
is
it
he
was a
going to
really hard. I mean, I've done well over 300 podcast episodes, but
yeah.
this by far was the toughest to, you know, to to grab. Okay.
Is
Anyway,
he going with the, Lenai Lenape of the
yes.
Delaware?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, it was really interesting. It wore me out.
Are you, and maybe now that we talked about his brother, are you able to say who this is?
I well, I I had written to him last night, and this was part of,
Yeah,
our conversation a few minutes ago. To
yeah.
invite him to call in today, because I said I would really like. He said he was announcing his candidacy for governor, on my podcast. He said, so I said, if you want to call into our broadcast today, that could help promote what you're doing. I haven't
Absolutely.
heard from him. I know that, and I'm not exactly sure why, but yeah. So his his name is Luke. It's Luke Kazitz. He has brothers and sisters, and at least one sister in our community. I've taught several of them, and
Uh,
they're a lovely, lovely family. And like I said, Luke was one of the sunniest young men, that I knew and loved as a teacher back in the day, and hope the best for him. But part of his shtick, I mean, he brought with him a mask, and I said, how this is how I remember you, being all sunny and positive and all that kind of stuff. And his response was, I had to be. And I think that's because he was trying to be the joy that perhaps was compromised, let's say, in his family as a result of his brother's death. So he intends to make a difference. I don't know how that will come about, if that will come about. Um,
right.
but I hope the best for him, because he is worth every single belief in the goodness of humanity that I can offer.
What mask did he bring a mask to the interview for the
He
podcast? Or
did. He did. And if I were smarter, I would grab a photograph of him holding the mask and wearing the mask, if I were clever enough to do that. If you can instruct me how to do that with these little
when you
things.
when you say mask, is it something like COVID or
No,
Halloween?
no, it's more like a ceremonial type mask. It looks like it's made out of plaster Paris, decorated in some sort of way.
Like,
That's what it looked like to me.
are we going back to the Native American thing or?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And like I said, he and I, before we started, I said, Luke, you have a lot to say. You have a lot of history that we can explore further. We can talk about Bosnia and what you've done there. And we can talk about the culture there. Maybe you and I need to do a series of podcasts. So if I hear from him
Yeah.
again, if I
Yeah.
hear from him again, we may do another podcast and I will ask that question. Yeah.
Well, I mean, leave
There
it
was
to
so much to
our
say. I mean, it ended up being a 40-minute podcast for us.
yeah. I was gonna say, leave it to our resident English teacher to say that her interview was like herding cats, and then give us a story on that interview that was like herding cats. Jesus. I mean, wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I get everything that you're saying,
Yeah.
but, like, where the hell did this mask thing come out of all of a sudden?
Uh-huh.
We're
Uh-huh.
talking
He
about
came,
planting
well, listen,
flowers and being a
he came
conceptual
with a,
architect.
listen, he came with a gym bag from Boyertown High School filled with stuff, and he laid out a bunch of those, what I could call props, on the table. And I thought, okay, so we are going to arrange our podcast episode having him explain what these different props mean. It didn't work out that way. Maybe next time. But one of the props he had out on the table was this mask. And I tried to get him to talk about it, but like I said, I couldn't get a, a real clear answer about it at the time. I can try again.
Was Did he have any other background? Like, how many languages does he speak?
I don't know that answer either. That's a really good question. I would guess at least two.
Yeah, um,
What
because, I mean,
language? What language do they speak in Bosnia? Would it be Slavic? A Slavic
um,
dialect?
Slavic language because it's part of the original Yugoslavia,
Mm-hmm.
but what language?
Would it be Russian? Would it be Ukrainian? He did mention Ukraine at one point, and I have a feeling perhaps part of his heritage is Ukrainian. But again, things topics flew so fast by my brain, I couldn't catch enough of them to get a clear read, answer, detail on much. He had so much he wanted to say. That yeah.
So,
Anyway,
um, Bosnia is a country in the Balkans. It's actually called Bosnia and Herzev Herzegovina. Herzegovina, um, and the country in the Balkan Peninsula in southeastern Europe. Its countryside is home to the medieval villages, rivers, and lakes, plus the craggy Dinaric Alps. National capital is Sarajevo, so that is the former Yugoslavia. Has a well preserved old quarter, landmarks like the 16th century mosque, Ottoman area Latin bridge, is the site of the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which ignited World War One. Capital Sarajevo, currency is Bosnia, convertible mark. Official languages are Bosnian, Croatian,
mm,
Serbian. Population is 3.185 million, according to the World Bank in 2023. They are in Europe. And in case you want to call them, their dialing code is plus 387.
thank you very much. So anyway, that
Yep.
was that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I also had a conversation with John Yamaris on Friday. So Friday and Saturday, I did two podcast episodes, and one is just a conversation with a good friend, and the other one was, as I said, like herding cats. So
Yeah. I mean, so there's a friend of mine who passed away back in 2019. He was my sponsor of sorts to get into the Secret Service. He was an agent back in the 60s. In fact, he was the site agent for the motorcade in Dallas in
Whoa.
1863. Had Kennedy not been shot, they would have gone to where he was waiting for them. And my friend Sam sounds a lot like this guy, sounds a lot like Luke, in that we'll ask him something as part of the conversation that, unknown to us, is probably something he is not allowed to or does not want to talk about it. And he just steers you in another direction without you even knowing he never answered your question. And then you sit up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you sit up in bed and go, God damn it, he did it again. Because that's when you finally realize he never answered your question. And I know I seem to be going intelligence community on a lot of things recently. The Epstein Island was a safe house. Because why else would you have an entire island that nobody knows how to get to, that there's no record of people visiting, that has its own helipad, and maybe even, I forget if it has a airstrip or not, but and now there's allegations that Jeffrey Epstein had ties to MI6 and the CIA. That's what it is. He's not some super spy. He's he's a house host, a hotelier of sorts.
And so his partner should not be in prison. She should be, identity protection somewhere instead. Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you is, if the Justice Department for the United States, the world's police, is telling us that they've gone through the files and there is no cause to bring charges against any other third party besides Jeffrey Epstein, what's Ghislaine Maxwell doing in jail?
Right.
Isn't that what she did? Was bring these for third party people? And now all of a sudden she wants to talk. So, I mean, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that just came out today. In fact, when I was getting ready for today's show, I was setting us up on Twitter Spaces. And Benny Johnson, the conservative guy that's down here in Tampa, had, was it Roger Stone, I think, was his guest. And they were talking, and the caption read, Ghislaine Maxwell wants to talk about who these people are that supposedly, according to the Justice Department, don't exist.
Don't exist. There's no list. Right. I
mean, even Trump's former criminal attorney, Alan Dershowitz, called bullshit.
Wow.
But he turned around and said, that's all I can say because of attorney-client privilege.
But he said that?
I was going to say, didn't you just say enough? Didn't you just say
something?
Yeah.
Without saying something, that's saying something. Now, Ken asked me a question, so I need to answer it. Ken asked me a question. Where online can we see the video podcasting of this? I assume he means the podcast with Luke. First, I'm sorry, Ken. My podcast is only audio. I hate seeing myself, so I've never made it video. It's only audio, but it can be found. It's Be Inspired, and if you type in Be Inspired Jane Stahl, you should be able to get it on almost any platforms. I record it on Spotify, or I publish it on Spotify, but it's available. I know most people listen to it on Apple, for example, or another podcast platform. Okay.
Yeah, it's B is in the letter B, Ken, and I'm pulling it up now. I can put a link in the chat. And,
oh, thanks.
New tab.
But in my episode notes, Ken, in my episode notes is a photograph of Luke holding his mask, actually.
And then somebody else, XNB, also from Twitch, says Epstein routinely cohorted with billionaires and prominent academics. He wasn't just a safe house operator. Well, I mean, that's part of what you're going to do
As a safe
as
house operator.
a
Yeah.
safe house. You're going to, for lack of better terms, entertain your guests,
Right.
whatever. Usually, such entertainment is on the up and up as far as legal
Hmm.
ramifications and whatever. Um, there's that. So here is the Spotify link. Put that in the chat. There's one. And then here it is on Apple Podcasts. I got to get back to binging Be Inspired. That's another thing. That reminds me. I got to resend that link to you because I think I had screwed that up on my end. Um, so that you episodes. There's definitely some new people. Julie Longacre.
Yeah.
Have we have one of her pieces. I think she took a photo of my dad and his two sisters from when they were babies and toddlers and turned that into
Huh.
a pencil sketch.
Gotcha.
And she did a black and white pencil of that. That's in my mom and dad's dining room. Maddie Bowman, I got to reach out to her. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't reach out to her or Rich yet because I wanted to give them time to get back to you. But I'll pick
Right. And Rich,
week.
Maddie had gotten back to me.
Okay.
What she may be able to do is connect you with someone who is, I don't know, more in charge.
Yeah.
Although she may be the person in charge of their media, but I don't know who sells their fence. What do I want to say? Ads.
Oh yeah, on the outfield
Yeah.
fence. Yeah. I thought that was
And but
I thought that
Zuber's
was
the guy you
Bob-
want to talk to about Pine Forge Athletic Association.
right. Right. Yeah, I thought Bob Hilbert did their signs.
Well, he probably does, but I'm not sure. He's the fabricator or whatever. He's the fabricator, but who orders them and then pays
Yeah.
for them is the person you need to get
Yeah,
to.
right. Sure.
Yeah.
Um, is he still even in business?
Yes. In fact, Paul brought home a free T-shirt from Bob just the other day and announced that Bob looks great, even
Wow.
though he is about our same age.
Yeah, I was
And,
going to say
and Paul
because
was so impressed about how great he looked. And I'm so jealous
Amy,
of him.
my
I am so jealous of the Hilberts because when I go back to Fernheiser Pools to have my water tested, he is always on the perfect pool list. He gets his
wow.
chemistry right all the time, and I have yet to be able to do that. So I need to have a podcast episode with Bob to find out how he gets what his
Yeah.
process is to keep his
Yeah.
pool in great shape. So there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Amy, Amy is my age. She was in my class.
Okay. Yep.
Amy Hilbert.
Yep.
Um, Erin Wade. That name sounds familiar.
Well, she's a Boyertown grad as well, and
Yeah.
I I invited her. I love her story. I invited her because her bear fever bear, which sits in front as Rita, sits in front of Rita's Water Ice in Boyertown,
Yeah.
sponsored by Harry's Tattoo and the Bear Fever Committee. I mean, her bear is just magnificent. And I was so impressed when it debuted. I had no idea Harry was going to have one of his tattoo artists decorate the bear. and that didn't work out for whatever reason. And so he let me know at one point, I have another artist. Her name is Erin Wade, and she'll do a great job. And I thought, okay, I have no idea who this artist is. And at that point, you know, it's important for me that the artists be legitimate artists and would do a
Right.
really good job. But when her bear came out, I was blown away. It's just
Nice.
so great. I mean, the images on there, they do appear as tattoos a lot of times on people's arms and backs and, you know, neck and so forth, but it's really good art, you know. And she's a
So
lovely, lovely woman. Lovely woman.
does this bear look like it's tattooed?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fitting. That's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, it's a great piece of art. It really is. So
Where is Harry's
she's
tattoo?
well, it no longer exists, actually. He just
Oh,
retired in the last 6 months or so. And it had been when he sponsored the bear, it had been right down the street, very close to Tallarico's. Okay.
I know which one you're talking. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
And
yeah,
then he moved in recent years to where the Western Auto Body Shop was, that was where Itches Sunoco,
yeah. Cherry's flower.
right across Madison Street. Okay, on the
There was
corner there.
also Cherry's flowers.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been a lot of different things. Anyway,
yeah, right.
that's where Harry ended up. And then, like I said, in the last 6 months or so, he's retired, and now it's the Golden Torch. But I understand Harry goes in now and again to do some of his art, to do some of his tattooing, but he no longer is the owner of he's no longer a full-time businessman. You know, he retired. So anyway, I have to get in there and do a little podcast with the new owner, and maybe I'll meet up with Harry while I'm in there. We'll see. When I have nothing to do.
So just get back to the comments for a second.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
XNB says when I said that he's a safe house operator, that's what he does. He says nonsense. You don't go around soliciting MIT professors and tech moguls and royalties so they can stay safely at your house. Yeah. Meanwhile, here comes from those of us who have actually been in our nation's intelligence community. That's
Mhm.
exactly what you do.
Mhm.
When you operate a safe house, you also do certain you also do certain levels of networking. But that's it. I
Mhm.
promise you, this guy is not James Bond.
Mhm.
Would have he would have been off in his cell.
Mhm.
The things that they are taught are amazing. He would not be dead if he was a real intelligence operative beyond
Mhm.
a safe house operator, and it was not suicide. I know somebody who lived in that wing of that prison. They said
Oh, do
nothing
you?
there for which you can commit suicide.
Mhm.
Nothing.
Mm.
He did not commit suicide. And so anyway, uh,
Anyway, so yeah, so we have a lot to talk about. You have a
yeah.
lot to share. What else would you
But
like to share about the
I mean,
Epstein controversy?
yeah, Epstein. Um, I agree with so much of the country, so much of the MAGA base that's calling bullshit. So
Mhm.
many others, and it's scary because I'm actually seeming like I'm agreeing with Dan Bongino, who, as you know,
I wondered how you felt about that.
is not a friend. Um,
But in this case,
yeah, it's like that T-shirt where the guy on the T-shirt is bent over forward and his own head is stuck up his ass, and the caption reads, "Your problem is obvious." The problem with this whole story is obvious. It's
obvious. Mhm.
bullshit,
Mhm.
and a legitimate journalist last week asked the president about it, and he goes off on, "You're still talking about this guy?
Mhm.
This whatever he called Epstein, this scum or this whatever.
Whatever.
Donald, we've got how many photos of and videos of you sitting right aside of the guy, chatting
Mhm.
him up and having a great old time? Doesn't don't we take one to know one? Aren't you who your friends are? And that's what you're calling Jeffrey Epstein? Maybe what people have been saying about you is actually accurate."
Mm.
And so I don't know how we go from having volumes and volumes or whatever it was that Pam Bondi said was on her desk to absolutely nothing. Nothing to see
Mhm.
here. Move along. I'm like, really? Even if that was true, the American people have their own special way of deciding whether or not there is something to see here.
Mhm.
And you, Pam Bondi, do not decide that for them. And I think that's what Dan Bongino's. I, he is just as much Trump's bitch as anybody else is, but he understands um, believability. You know, like I've said so many times on this show, switching from English to math, when we were taught word problems and we figured out, you know, how we had to calculate whatever the thing was asking us to calculate. The last step of that calculation was asking yourself, does my answer make sense?
Mhm.
And Bongino's looking at this and going, hell no, this doesn't make sense at all. This smells of bullshit.
Mhm.
And he's right. You know, I suspect, I hope that perhaps this is an awakening to him,
To Bongino?
to Bongino. Yeah.
Mm.
Because he sat on Fox and Friends crying almost literally of being in his office at the FBI and sitting there at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning all day with essentially nothing to do.
Mm.
And if I get up and go to the bathroom, I guess they got like a shared bathroom between him and the director, um,
Okay.
Kash Patel. They can hear when each other goes to the bathroom because
Okay.
it's that old of a setup and the pipes are that old and whatever. And he's I'm separated from my wife, which I think was a slip. I think he might actually be separated because this has not been going well. I don't know that. I just when he said that on Fox News, he backpedaled really fast. Like he might have let something out he wasn't supposed to let out.
Mm.
And or maybe it was a slip in that, he's physically separated, like he tried to uh, tie it off as, like he tried to sell it as. Like she's probably still down here in Florida where he used to live, and he's up there in DC in an apartment or whatever.
Mhm.
But it sounds like life is not good at home because he did say that too. Um, and Jon Stewart is playing this clip on the Daily Show, and yeah, Cash Patel's in there by 7:30 in the morning working out. I work out at my apartment, but I'm in there by 8:30, and we sit there and do nothing all day inside these
Ugh.
four walls, and you're isolated. And Jon Stewart goes, "That's called a job." You're like, "Yeah, dude." I just hope that if he starts becoming disillusioned with MAGA and the Trump administration and the Epstein case and the FBI and the Justice Department and whatever else, I hope my hopes are that he does not resign in protest of the handling of the Epstein case. I hope that he stays there and starts forming what Trump 1.0 used to have, and that is what were called the adults in the room.
Mhm.
There were those career professionals that kept Trump in line. and prevented stupid shit like ICE kidnapping people and then trafficking them to other countries unconstitutionally,
Mhm.
and then going around and accusing prior administrations of doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that's what's needed. We need to bring back some of the adults in the room
Mhm.
that can stand up to people like Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth, and even Marco Rubio. I mean, he's been quiet, but
Oh, he's so sad.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So another asset that has no idea what he's talking about. Um, I just told you, as an actual expert from the intelligence community, what you do when you operate a safe house, and yet this guy tells me I'm wrong. Okay, you go on living like that. Um, I'm not going to pay any attention to you because it's what's called wrong, not me. You. Um,
Wrong and
I,
dumb. Oh
I'm
my
ruining it.
gosh.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Just
Thank you.
how far up Trump's ass are you? Because that's exactly what a maggot would say. You are a mega moron, dude.
Hmm.
He says, no matter how dumb the IC, that's intelligence community. You can say intelligence community. You're not a spy. We don't call it that. We don't call it the IC. Is operating a safe house doesn't benefit from attracting attention from the. How do you know what they're attracting attention to or not? That's the point. That's why he's in the intelligence community, or used to be, and you're not, because you're a dumbass.
Now, gentlemen,
I
let
don't
us
support.
calm down a little bit.
Do you support anything?
Hmm.
Anyway, uh,
Anyway, so what do you do? So what's on the schedule for the next couple of days?
I
Okay.
got to launch last week's episode still, and this one, and then that's easy because it's just a matter of separating it from the other 2 hour episode and putting it up. But
Hmm.
the others, where I separate each individual segment, that's more involved, and I got a lot of catching up to do. I'm probably about 2 weeks behind now. I got nothing else on my schedule for today, so that's going to be a huge thing for me today and part of tomorrow. I
Well,
got two.
the last thing I want to ask you is, how do you feel the bracelet is working for
Well, until this asshat got on the chat, I was doing fine.
you? You were doing really well.
Uh, uh, so there's no ic.gov. That's it's called a cover. I used to have one of those. Oh, Jesus H Christ!
H? Heavenly?
I don't know who that is, but that used to be like the swear word that everybody used to use.
Yeah, I
Jesus
know.
Christ!
I
Well,
know. But now I want to know what AH
um,
stands for.
well, I don't
Just for
either.
fun.
I know, but
I'm
oh,
trying
what's
to
the guy's
distract
name?
you. I'm I'm
Who's the
trying to
guy?
distract you.
Who's the guy? Larry something. The guy in the wheelchair that was shot used to be the publisher for uh, not Playboy, either Penthouse or one of the
Oh,
other.
I know. Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
He used to have that on his desk. That was his nameplate, Jesus H Christ.
Oh dear.
Uh, oh, it's that time though. We're coming up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What do you got for the rest of the day? Are you going to make it out back up?
Well, yeah, not I'm going floating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 90 degrees here in Pennsylvania and humid as
Yeah, same here.
the
Yeah.
devil's lair. And so I'm going to float a little bit. And we've watched, by the way, which was kind of interesting. Paul put on The Accountant Part 2 the other night. And we enjoyed that movie so very much. And so last
The
night we watched the
the
original one,
Ben
and that was even
Ben
more
Affleck.
fun. Yes, with Ben Affleck. And I
I
loved I love the whole autism
Yeah.
presentation. I mean,
So
so
I
yeah,
I saw the first one. I've got the first one on my Apple iTunes or whatever the hell it's called this week. Um,
I'd watch it
I've got
again.
the
It
first
was
one.
fun.
I didn't I did I know there was a second one? Maybe I
I don't
did,
know.
but I met him actually. He's a really cool guy.
Is it?
Ben Affleck, yeah, really neat guy. I met him during the 2004 campaign. He was supporting John Kerry from
Okay.
Massachusetts against Trump. Um, but yeah, so now
That was a
thank
fun
you.
it was a fun movie to watch. I would watch it again. So I need to find and then a few nights before that, we watched another buddy movie, and that was fun too. Don't ask me who was in it because I don't know. I don't know the names of the actors, but I'm into buddy movies right now.
Okay. Well, Buddy says, sounds like at best you're one of the lobies that doesn't know how much is compartmentalized. That's the point, you ass. He
On
does the
this
safe
note,
house.
on
Yeah,
this note,
exactly.
we are ending our show
Yeah.
today.
When you do a safe house, you don't do anything else because then you
On
compromise the safe house.
this
You dick.
note, we are ending our show today.
Let's go. I'm gonna actually go make a real cocktail.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. That sounds like a plan. But
enjoy the
anyway,
pool.
I'm Jane Stahl,
And I'm Yergz.
and we do both sides now.
Yes, all sides. Tell Amy that there's an episode coming. I'll make sure she gets a link to it.
Okay. All
She'll
right.
enjoy it.
Take care and
All right,
have
my
a
dear.
good week. And
Yep, you
we'll
too.
talk next week. Okay.
Definitely. All right,
Take care.
everybody.
Bye
That's
now.
it. Jane's got to go to the pool. I've got to sit in this chair and edit. And we'll be dropping two episodes from both sides now later on today, last week's and this week's. And then probably, I'm not kidding you, about 10 episodes of Up the Middle that we'll get caught up on. So, yeah, that's it.
Take
Um,
care.
all right. Oh, yeah. You can go to the pool. Get
Okay.
out of here.
Goodbye.
All right. That's it. I'm heading out too. That's it, everybody. Thanks for getting off the porch and running with the big dogs and going up the middle and both sides now. Thanks for joining. We'll see you again.